And we're live. So, I promised a special guest, and I should probably deliver the special guest a little bit earlier than I had anticipated, because it looks like he's starting to get a little bit cranky. Come here, sweetheart. Come on. Oh, his mom's handing him to me. There we go. So for those of you who haven't been following me on Twitter, so if you haven't seen my baby yet, because I've posted quite a few videos of him, but I have them unlisted on YouTube. So only really the Twitter followers are seeing them for the most part when I post the links. This is my baby boy. He is, what is the date today? He'll be 6 months old in 2 days. And that makes him 5 months and 28 or 29 days old. So this is what he looks like. The only reason that he's joining us tonight is because he is a brat. This is what he looks like. And he was supposed to have gone to bed. Is because you were supposed to have gone to bed. Do you want to tell me about why you're not in bed? He was supposed to have gone to bed. Oh, he's looking at the monitor here, which is right here. Are you transfixed by Twitter? Is that going to be your favorite thing to do when you're older? You know what? They'll probably have a new thing. They probably won't have Twitter anymore at all. Is that going to be your favorite thing to do when you're older? You know what? They'll probably have his eyes. He's starting to get tired. Hopefully his mom can. Yes. Oh wait. I have another tab open. What tab? Hold on, let me think. Hopefully his mom can... Yes. What's the problem here? Oh, wait. I have another tab open. What tab? Hold on, let me think. And... bam! Oh, wait. There we go. Should be good. No, it's not echo. It's because the system still had sound on. I had to mute the sound. No, it's not echo. Are we good? Because the system... There's such a delay on the stream that it's hard for us to know if it's good. There's such a delay. No, it's not good. On the stream that it's okay. Well, hold on a minute. To know if it's good. There's such a delay. Not fixed. Uh-oh. Hold on a minute. Okay, now we have a problem. Not fixed. Hold on. Uh-oh. Here, can you take him for a second? Now we have a problem. Here you go. Hold on. Let me just see. Is it still monitoring? Here you go. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let me just see. Sounds off. Is it still monitoring? Do I have multiple... Hello, 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 hello. Okay, hold on, guys, hold on. Do I have multiple? I moved everything around tonight. Okay, hold on, guys, hold on. Do I have? I moved everything around tonight. How about now? Okay, hold on, guys. Still have an echo? I moved everything around tonight. How about now? How about now? Are we good? Still have an echo? What do you mean it's worse? It's only in the left ear. Okay, that figures. What do you mean it's worse? It's only in the left ear. Okay. Hold on. What do you mean it's worse? Wait, here's an idea. Hold on. I will try this. Wait. How about now? Is there still an echo? Still an echo? Hold on. I'm gonna switch the sound back. So it should be both on input 1. Do we not have an echo anymore? We good? Okay, fixed. Yes. Baby back. Baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back. There we go. So do you want to give the Twitch audience and maybe some YouTube people who are watching and wherever else from all over the internet that all these people are tuning in from, maybe give them a nice big smile? Just wants to stare at the screen. He's watching the Twitch chat, which, quite frankly, is usually pretty inappropriate for babies because of the kind of stuff you guys are putting in there. And he's starting to get tired. So for those of you who don't have babies already, when they start to rub their eyes and their ears, that means they are starting to get tired. Yes, he does have a big diaper. It is because he's wearing cloth diapers. So we have a diaper service that's actually cheaper than disposables, and cloth diapers are pretty expensive to buy these days, so that's why we decided to go with that route, because we don't know how many babies we're having, and it's cheaper to rent them than to buy them. So there you go. Yeah, Eco Linus. No, more like Practical Linus. Let's see if there's anyone who's sending in any messages on Twitter. We can just kind of see what's going on over there. I'm just going to change my scene here. 26 new interactions. Holy smokes. Hey Linus, it's Flip. Okay, hi Flip. I'm wondering, how do you split your screen between the camera and your computer screen in XSplit? Well, I use XSplit to to add additional things, and then you just kind of resize them. They have a video about it. So it's pretty straightforward. And what else we got? I was IP banned from Twitch, and I don't know why. Well, if you tweet John's, well, his Twitter handle is John's Fat Cock. If you tweet him, you can probably ask. Linus for gaming with games with amazing graphics like BF3 and Metro 2033, 670 or 7950 with the latest drivers from AMD. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but AMD released new drivers that are just ballin'. We're looking at 10-15% performance improvements in modern games with their Southern Islands family of cards. So that's all the Radeon 7000 series cards. Now you can see what's got him transfixed now is the Microsoft Surface. He loves phones, and he especially seems to like the Microsoft Surface right now. So this will be the first footage on the internet of a baby using Microsoft Surface. Sweetheart, that's not how it works, okay? Hold on. Hold on. It's pressure sensitive. You gotta be careful. Hold on, I gotta put in the password for you. You know, parental locks and all that. This is important. This is how he uses the Surface. I'm not saying that you should use it the same way. The pressure-sensitive keyboard is responding well to his gestures, which basically amounts to mashing the keyboard. This is a very positive thing already about the pressure-sensitive keyboard on the Surface, because if this was a real keyboard, I don't want you to eat that, sweetie. No, babies are not, Surfaces are not for baby eating. So, well, nothing's for baby eating. Nobody should be eating babies. But what I meant to say is that it's not for babies to eat. That's really what I meant to say. Okay, yeah, you're typing. See, look at him swiping in the contextual menu there. Here, try this. I want you to swipe in from the side like that. Can you do that, sweetheart? Okay, well, he's going to mash the keyboard some more. There you go. Okay, yeah. That's very good. You're doing really well. That might be the best we're going to get from him in terms of using the Surface. Like I said, he's only 6 months old at this point, you guys, so there you go. Yeah, he's all over that. Here, you know what? Here's an interesting test. Okay, sweetie. Which one do you want? Surface or iPad? So let's grab the iPad. Let's put something similar on the display. So it's just, let's find out if he's going to be an Apple fanboy or if he's going to be more of a Microsoft home dog. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put the baby between each one, and let's see which one he goes for here. He wants both. Okay, now we know. So it looks like he's just going to be a general technophile, just like his dad. And I can't take his eye off that. Okay, so I think I do want to get going with the stream now. So everyone say bye to our special guest. Can you say bye? No, you're just going to stare at the Surface? He's leaning on me really hard. He's trying to get over there. Whoa, yeah, what if we dropped it? That would be not so good. Here you go. Alright guys, so thanks for bearing with me here. I know that was more of a distraction than anything else, but hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. He had a very good time, I think. What do you think, Mom? Yeah, I'm getting the nod over there. I think he enjoyed joining us on the stream here. So, as you guys may or may not have noticed, I am in a new set this time. I have a completely new sort of thing going on, and honestly this was a total mess to set up. I'm just going to go take over the camera for a second here, flip it into auto mode so I can show you guys what I've got going on in the middle of my living room right now. Hey, it's not pretty, but if I can't even figure out how to change this camera from like auto mode to manual mode. It's so complicated. Okay, we're in auto mode now. So that's me. There's my mouse pad. Got the like the middle cushion folded down on the couch. And then this is the monitor I've set up so that I can read tweets this week. That was a big problem for me last week. I couldn't actually control the computer that I was using to stream the video. So here is that computer, almost directly under the camera in my Antec P280 case. And is it zooming in? Wow, the weight of the lens Zoomed it in as I moved it down there. That's not what I meant to do. And that's my sweater. And then here's all the tablets that I have for us tonight. So there's the Asus TF700. There's the iPad 2. Don't have an iPad 3. Not sold on the iPad 3, to be perfectly honest. There's a Surface. And then the other one is hiding somewhere, I think. Oh, yeah, it's on the floor down there behind the table. So, oh, yes, check this out. You guys are going to love this. Darth Vader Pez. I promise to bring that out later in the stream. And I hope I have this lined up right, because if I don't, my wife, who's holding the baby as well, is going to have to try and figure out how to re-aimamolate this at me. Yeah, it's not quite right. My head is cut off. And my head is no longer cut off. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Let's do a little bit of Q&A before we get into what will be the bulk of the setup, or bulk of the live stream for tonight, which is going to be Windows 8, Windows RT, and then with particular emphasis on this tablet, because Cameraman and I actually spent, we obviously haven't had a ton of time with it yet, but we spent a couple hours with the Surface today, and between the two of us, remember guys, Cameraman, I'm talking the original Cameraman, not Slick, who's an Android-aholic, and not Diesel, who's also an Android kid, but the Cameraman, who's the Apple nerd of our sort of ragtag group of technophiles. He's sold. He's like, oh, yeah, no, this is really good. There's some stuff that's not perfect. It needs apps. It needs apps. You could make an argument for a higher resolution screen. I'm not sure I care that much. But the way it handles multitasking and the productivity potential for this platform, for this device right now, is just absolutely outstanding, because Office makes all the difference in the world. Here, I'd love to hear from you guys in the Twitch chat or in the Twitter feed. Who here has ever tried to edit a Google Doc using an Android tablet or an iOS device? It is the stupidest thing in the world. You have to click on the cell in order to edit it, and then it usually clicks on the cell to the right or above it or below it. It almost never clicks on the cell you actually intend. It is so slow. It's the slowest thing in the world. Working with an Office document, working with a document is just, you're trying to get something done. There's no reason you'd be working with a spreadsheet and you're not trying to get something done. It doesn't work that way. And it's the slowest thing in the world. This, just changes all that. It's smaller than any Ultrabook. It is a great touch experience, and I'll talk more about how I feel about touch in general in Windows 8 later, but the touch experience on this is 100 times better than what I'd imagine you can get on a desktop. And I'm kind of sold. It's expensive. It's not cheap. I'm not necessarily sold on that aspect of it, but in fact, I wish it was $100 cheaper. Let's sort of put it that way. But it's also not nearly as bad as some of the press are making it out to be, where they're kind of going, oh yeah, if it doesn't have apps, then we might as well just all jump off into a river. You know what? It's Microsoft. They will get app support. So there's that. And okay, no, let's do a little bit more Q&A. And then I'll get into sort of some of my rants for the night. One of my rants tonight is going to be the inability for people to accept the change that is coming with Windows 8 with the UI. Let's have a look at what some of the Twitter people had to say about editing documents using it. They had absolutely nothing to contribute about that topic. Oh, I agree, it's a nightmare, says Malvin. Malvin is correct. It is a total nightmare to make an Office. Yes, it was the worst. Yes, you've done it. Okay. Yeah, you know what? At some point I'll try, but not right now. Sean. Okay, good question, Sean. No one's ever asked me this before, so I've never really brought it up before. I actually don't drink. I might be the only Canadian, north of the 49th parallel, which is sort of where most Canadians are, who doesn't drink beer. So there you go. Could I get that adjusted just slightly? It's kind of pointing down a little bit, and it's sort of awkward. Okay, that's up pretty high. That's good. Thank you. What's the highest overclock I'll get with an H100 and i7 3770K? Realistically, anywhere from sort of 4.6 to 5.0 would be very happy. 4.6, 4.8 is probably the most realistic. Hello, Australia, to Billy Cool over there. Do I think Windows 8 is a good idea for desktop? You know what? That's going to be one of my main topics later on. So these are going to be my topics. Windows 8 Touch. How does Windows 8 affect gamers? Drive spaces, which I think is very exciting. Surface versus iPad versus Android. For me personally. So I will cover that, but it's going to be something that I'm going to dive a little bit more into depth into. AMD's new drivers are awesome. What's your opinion? They're awesome. I think we can all agree on that. How does my wife put up with my mess? It's not actually messy. It's just... Okay, she's giving me a look right now. You know what? It's probably better if I do not answer that question. Because no matter what I say, I will get into trouble. And it will not be good for me. So let's just leave that. Darn this 512 kilobit connection. I'm sorry, Jason. You can always watch later on YouTube. Paul wants to know if I can do a backflip. Alright, I've never been asked to do a stunt before. Sorry, I'm still fighting a bit of a nagging cold here. But I'm going to ask my lovely wife to operate the camera for me, and I'll show them the one trick that I can do. Okay, here we go. And it will be across the cluttered floor, full of clutter. Not mess. Mess is different from clutter. Mess is like Cheetos, cheesy bags and stuff. This is clutter. This is like necessary cables that I need, and diapers for my baby that he needs. And a baby, which I obviously need. Isn't that right, sweetheart? Isn't that right, sweetheart? Okay. So, I cannot do a backflip. I have never done a backflip. But what I can do is I can walk on my hands. At least I could last time I tried. So, I am either going to knock over the $1,500 lights and the precarious table that's balanced on something, or I'm going to succeed in this trick for you all. And I'm not sure which is going to happen. And there goes my keys. Okay, hold on. We're gonna take one more crack at this without the not my keys. What fell? Okay, one of my keys. Okay. We're gonna try one more time. I'm gonna try to make it all the way over to the couch. So here we go. Up. Uh-oh, I'm slipping. Okay, the wires are not gonna let me pass, but there you go. That is the best I can do. I used to be able to do a front handspring, but I can't anymore, and I'm not even going to try that because it's been a very, very long time since I've made an attempt. A little bit more zoomed out, yep, and a little bit higher. There we go, thank you. Alright, baby's starting to get cranky, so hopefully he lasts a little bit longer here. Greetings from Indonesia. It's Saturday afternoon right here, perfect time for a live stream, fantastic. Thank you for that story, bro. Alright. McCall, I am sorry to hear that, man. As much as I'm glad that you're watching my live stream right now, I am sorry that you no longer have a job. The hey, yes, I believe you can. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Ty says, love your vids, Linus. What else we got? Get mom in the camera. Mom does not want to go on camera. Remember, guys, she had a baby not that long ago. And, yeah, not to mention she's in her jammies, so I think she's not going to want... She's giving me another look. You guys are getting me in all kinds of trouble tonight. I hate you guys. You suck. All kinds of trouble. What is my rank at NCIX? I'm a category manager, so I manage categories, and then product managers manage products, and then salespeople sell them, so kind of like that. Do you think we'll see reasonably priced touchscreen monitors for consumers now that Windows 8 has come out? Absolutely, I think we're going to see reasonably priced touchscreen monitors. In fact, one of the ones that I'm really excited about is one that I did a video on. This is Acer's touchscreen monitor, Acer Windows 8 NCIX. Let's try that for a keyword. Ah, yes, the T23HL. I am
The Optic Smart Remote app gives you
extremely
great
excited
features
about
at your
this one.
fingertips.
And I'm going to go ahead, and it looks like not all of you are extremely excited about this one,
Tech
but
Tips.
this monitor
As I press
is
the
an
power button on
IPS
this
monitor. It has 10-point multi-touch, and it is just, I'm super, super stoked on that monitor because it comes in at a fairly reasonable price. So yes, and we'll see more and more as time goes on. When do you think 7990 will be released? It's already released. Lotus Fantasy, already released, man. Power Color made a card. They made like 300 of them or something, so no one cares. There you go. Why didn't I review the GTX 690? Because nobody sent me one. I never had one, so I don't... I mean, I can't buy every video card and test it because as much as you guys would love to believe that the YouTubes is sort of made of money and that if you get like 100,000 views on the YouTubes that trouble you know doesn't come for you and that everything is sort of hunky-dory. Yeah, you don't get that much money for YouTube videos, so yeah, I can't actually afford that. That's all. Let's have a look. 44 new interactions on the Twitters. You know what? Let's go into our first topic for tonight first. So the first topic is going to be how does Windows 8 affect gamers? Now, this is kind of complicated because there's a few different ways that we can go at this. So number one is how does it affect desktop gamers? So gamers like your traditional gamers, your Quake 3 gamers, your Team Fortress 2 gamers, your FPSs, your RTSs, your RPGs. I would make the argument that not at all. So number one is that Windows 7 is going to be relevant for a very long time. Windows 7's adoption rate was excellent compared to Vista. So what we will likely see is a similar shelf life after the newer stuff is out for Windows 7 as we saw with Windows XP. Probably not as long as that because remember Windows XP also ran for a much longer period of time where it was the current OS. Whereas Windows 7 only ran for around 2 years. But you will see support for the new games coming out with Windows 7, if you're already running Windows 7, for a very long time, like years, before you'll even... By the time you would have to upgrade to Windows 8, Windows 8 will be replaced by Windows 9 or Windows 10. Okay, so there's that. Does it affect you if you don't even upgrade? Do you have to upgrade? The answer is no in both cases. And Windows 7 will support current hardware for a very long time because the way that Microsoft licenses a software package is they license it by physical CPU, and Windows 7 is perfectly good for 1 or 2 CPUs depending on which copy you have. So, okay, physicals, we're not going to have less than 1 CPU in a system anytime soon. We're probably not going to have more than 1 physical CPU in a system anytime soon. Certainly not more than 2 in a desktop or even a moderate workstation environment. RAM isn't going to be a problem for a very long time. There are editions of Windows 7 that I believe support up to 128 gigs or even 256 gigs of RAM. And I apologize for not remembering this correctly. Windows 7... Pro RAM limitation. Let's have a look. Let's see what Microsoft has to say for themselves because I can't remember. It looks like non-page pool something 7 Pro supports up to 192 gigs on Windows 7, as does Enterprise, as does Ultimate, with Home Premium being the only one where I can imagine that users are going to run into a problem because it is limited to 16 gigs, and we're not that far away from being able to utilize 16 gigs or more if you do any sort of video rendering or if you do any kind of 3D rendering or anything like that. Okay, so you don't have to upgrade. That's number one. Number two is it's still built on the same kernel as Windows Vista. This is something people don't seem to think about when they go, oh, what will performance be like on Windows 8 in games? Guys, it's going to be the same as Windows 7, which was the same as Windows Vista, in spite of all the complaints about Windows Vista, to within sort of a margin of error. It's going to be difficult to measure the difference in performance between these platforms, because ultimately it's based on the same underlying platform. Now Vista performed a little worse than 7 because there was additional bloat. The OS was just, it was bloated. It was demanding on the hardware just running in the background. If anything, as long as there isn't some kind of dramatic driver incompatibility between the Windows 8 driver and the Windows 7 driver for your graphics card, or some kind of horrendous thing that happens, in general, Windows 8 should, if anything, be faster than Windows 7 due to how light it is on the hardware requirements. Remember, even a Tegra 3 running an all-out Windows RT OS, which is no less bloated than Windows 8 as far as I can tell, is very responsive. So if your computer has that little overhead that it's dealing with on the OS side, then I can't imagine any issues there. Okay, so number 1, you don't have to upgrade. Number 2, there's no performance delta. Okay, number 3, and this is almost the big one. How will Windows 8 affect gamers who are not necessarily married to the idea of the hardcore PC game? And I would argue that Windows 8 is going to be... Is this really not charged? That's going to be a problem for me tonight. Try holding it down. Okay, well this is my showcase Android device. Ah, there it goes. Okay, so my Galaxy Tab 10.1 that I love. That's my favorite Android tablet in spite of there being faster Tegra 3 ones. It's just, I just love it. The screen is amazing. I love PLS screens. So iPad 2. So it is going to introduce to the Windows ecosystem the potential for games like, let's see if I can find sort of the stupidest, lowest common denominator kind of game. Games like Pappy Jump, where ultimately this is it. Will you have to run these? I mean, we've already got these games, Flash-based browser games, but we're going to have easier access to them. So, instead of going on neopets.com, ultimately you'll go on, I don't know, the Windows Store. Okay, so there's that. And it'll be more accessible. It'll also give us access to the newer things that we can do with hardware on these kinds of mobile platforms with accelerometers and gyroscopes. So you have more motion control and potentially more things that can be done with it. I'm really excited to see what game devs can do with an API that they're used to, such as DirectX, with hardware that's significantly more powerful than anything you'll see on an iPad anytime soon, or on an Android device, where we've got Windows 8 running on tablet-like devices or even larger devices with more powerful hardware. The kind of gaming opportunities that this opens up, maybe not immediately, but in the near future, are extremely exciting to me. I mean, what if you could play an RTS? Think of it like this. This is just the kind of stuff to think about before you reject the idea outright. What if your Surface could have a display on it that is like the mini-map of an RTS that you're playing on the screen in front of you like this? And think of it kind of like the Razer Switchblade. Is that what they call it? Yeah, the Switchblade interface, where they've got this touch-sensitive interface. What if instead of using a mouse for an RTS, you actually used a gigantic touchpad like this? Is it doable? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you still want a mouse. Maybe you can still use a mouse. Maybe by then we have mice that are optimized for use on top of a tablet. So you've got your mini-map here, you've got a bunch of interesting information here, you've got your screen in front of you, and all of a sudden you have that much more that you can do. Maybe you go maybe it's as cool as like something like where you're like, oh crap, freak out time, everyone retreat, and they build in code into the game so you can go like this with your entire tablet and everyone disengages and retreats. I mean, that's the kind of thing that more motion control and more potential for interface and more integration between all these different platforms can do. You look at sort of, no one's close. Android can integrate with your phone. It can integrate with your browser. But Google is not going to have a desktop OS anytime soon. Apple, you can integrate with your desktop OS, you can integrate with your phone, you can integrate with some of your apps. But let's face it, they don't have that much on the app side that anyone would care about integrating with. And, I mean, do you really use an Apple desktop, even if you have an iPhone? I have an iPhone. There's nothing special about like this Apple experience that's like, oh, I have to have that, I have to have for my desktop. Like, no, I'm not sold on the whole Apple desktop platform. So that will never be an option for me. Whereas for me, as a Windows user, this whole paradigm is very, very exciting. I've heard of a Wii U. Jeez, the Twitch chat, these guys. So yes, it opens up the potential for casual games on the Windows platform, which, I mean, come on. You can poo-poo casual games all you want. You can go, oh, if it ain't Counter-Strike, then it ain't nothing. But let's face it, have you ever played Plants and Zombies? It's awesome. And what about Chrome OS? Chrome OS is just a browser. Get over it. And honestly, I'm just not... It's kind of what Smart Glass is. So Smart Glass is another example of where we're already there. I'm not that sold on Smart Glass right now, just because there's some latency. It's not perfect. Once we get a truly perfect wireless HDMI interface that's fast enough and responsive enough. I mean, I'm all about responsive. I'm the kind of person who queued up to buy a dual core on day one, X2 4400 Plus, because it was so much more responsive. I was all over SSD because I want to increase the responsiveness. I have a very hard time moving away from the responsiveness that I get with a desktop to something like a cloud-enabled service. I have a hard time using something wirelessly when I could just plug it in with a wire and I could get a way better experience. I'm not ready to move away from that yet, so I'm going to have to wait for myself until that maturity level has been reached so that I can use it the way I would normally use a desktop PC even now. Wow, there's like no viewers tonight. Did the YouTube thing never go live? I actually don't know. I sort of hope it went live. I hope you guys will pardon me for a second here while I just find out if the YouTube live stream starting now never went up. Oops. Let's go ahead and change that there. So, yeah, you know what? Those of you who are here already, though, you guys are awesome, because that means you guys either follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitch, or you, what's the other option? Or you just memorize the schedule and you don't follow me on Twitter and you don't follow me on Twitch. Either way, you're awesome, so it's good. I can't believe I did not announce this on my YouTube channel. You know what? I don't think I promised that that topic of why gamers care or why they don't care on the YouTube channel. So we'll just, you know what? I'm just gonna here watch this. Those of you, oops, sorry. Those of you who are here already, see, I'm just gonna delete it. I'm gonna pretend that never existed and that never happened. Just like that. See? Gone. There we go. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more Q&A. Chris asks, Sandy Bridge or Ivy Bridge? To which I would rely upon you to ask me the question, in which case I will give an answer, and the answer will be I still prefer Ivy Bridge. Okay, Ivy Bridge, better IPC, so more instructions per clock. It's a faster architecture. Sandy Bridge can overclock more, or it can overclock not at all. So in terms of what you're getting as a guarantee, then Ivy Bridge is better. You could make the argument that most Sandy Bridge chips are going to overclock pretty well, but I've also seen extreme editions. In fact, John's Fat Cock from Twitch, John, what is his last name? Howell? I think something like that. He has an extreme edition that didn't overclock worth anything. So it's never a guarantee. Ivy Bridge has faster video transcode, which for me is relevant. I do use it. It's awesome for transcoding video to mobile-ready formats. Although, again, that's another thing I'm really excited about with Windows being, like, the thing to use, because we won't have to worry about, you know, converting to some stupid format. It's just to play something back on my iPad. So I would personally go Ivy Bridge. Does it run a little hotter? Maybe. Does it matter? Probably not. Genope. Building a new PC. Windows 7 or 8 for gaming at the same price. Just get Windows 8. It'll have a longer support cycle. I always recommend people buy the latest OS. You will have to use it at some point. You will encounter it somewhere, so it's better to just figure out how to use it. Any reason you don't have an Android or Windows phone? Because I'm not really a phone nerd. I honestly, I'm not. When I got my phone, I had like an ancient BlackBerry, you know, something that had like, you know, a keyboard and it like had a scroll wheel. It didn't have a touchscreen. There was nothing fancy. And the iPhone 4 was already out, guys. So that's how far into better smartphones we were at the time. So the choices for me were Galaxy S and iPhone. That was about it. And out of those two, my wife ended up going with the Galaxy S Vibrant, and I went with the iPhone. Based on our experiences owning these platforms over longer periods of time, I would make the argument that I made a way better choice. Her Android device is still running Gingerbread, which is retarded. There is absolutely no reason other than, you know, Android devices not getting the support that they really should, that device should not be running on a newer OS, okay? Whereas I get iOS 6, which I haven't upgraded to, mind you, because I'm worried about not having maps. Yes, I do. Einstein died. I do see the chat, but I don't really reply to questions from Twitch chat, mostly from Twitter. At Linus Tech, if you're not already following me on Twitter. So I probably made the right choice. Both of our phones still work, except that my dock connector is still durable and still charges my phone reliably, and her stupid micro USB connector is so broken that I have to like go in there with a needle and like bend it really hard just to get it to charge once in a while, and it lasts for a while. Her phone has crashed numerous times more than mine has. So when it's time for me to get a new phone, basically when my iPhone 4 dies, because I'm not a phone nerd, iPhone 4 does absolutely everything I could possibly need a phone to do already. It's fast enough for me. When it dies, then I'll reevaluate and I'll look at what's available. Although I'm not much of an Android guy. I'm just really not. I mean, I use it when I have to. But if I could switch to Windows RT tomorrow and Windows Phone tomorrow, that would probably be the way I'd go based on my experience so far today. So, yeah, there you go. Linus, is it a good idea to wait for Black Friday sales to get a totally new system? Yes, Black Friday sales are amazing. Why are TN panels so bad? Well, they're just bad. They have bad viewing angles and bad color. They're just bad. Don't get them. They're fast. So if you need 3D, you have to get TN. But there you go. Linus, how would you convince someone on Windows 7 to upgrade to Windows 8? I would tell them if they don't have a compelling need for Windows 8, then they probably don't need to. But I'm going to talk about storage spaces, which if you're a storage nerd, you guys are going to want to check out. Storage spaces on Windows 8 is amazing, and I will be talking more about that later. Shady Skull says, first time in the live stream. Shout out to Sweden. Hi, Sweden. And that is a very expensive new computer, Shady Skull. Chromium OS, whatever. If your personal rig is on hold, what rig are you using for personal use? Believe it or not, I am using a laptop as my daily driver right now. Isn't that crazy? I'm using my MSI quad-core gaming laptop, which actually isn't that bad. Mitch says, I'm not the only Canadian in the world who doesn't drink. Thank you, Mitch. Is Nexus 7 a good choice? Yes. I don't know how sold I am on this whole iPad mini thing. It's like Christmas for Muslims, but you still spared 1.5 hours for the live stream. Thank you. I appreciate that. You are awesome. Logitech G710 Plus unboxing is coming soon, but tonight and today I had to do my Vivo Tab RT, and I have to do the Surface, and so yeah, yeah. What keyboard am I using right now? I am using a Philco Cherry MX Blue 10 keyless keyboard right now. Cherry MX Blues are the best. They're amazing. I love them. Linus, quit answering questions about your wife or she's going to ground you. You are 100% right. That is exactly what would happen. Any updates on the Prodigy Hackintosh build? I finally have a motherboard. However, I've had no time. Things have been so crazy. FX8350 is about 15% faster than an 8150, 10-15% faster. Total War gamers. I love Total War, although the only one I ever played was Rome Total War. CW asks, how was the learning curve on Windows 8? I haven't spent as much time with Windows 8 as I'd like, although when I finally finish my personal rig, I will be installing Windows 8 on it as the first thing that I do. But if you tweet at SlickPC knows better than me. If you tweet him, he's been using Windows 8 pretty much since the developer preview came out, and he really likes it. He's using it on a laptop without a touchscreen. Linus, do you even lift? No, I do not lift. I play badminton. So those of you who think badminton is a wussy sport, To you, I would go like this. Badminton. That's it. Nothing else. Badminton. Hi, I'm from France. I've gone swimming a few times in the last little bit, but this is from badminton. And I haven't even played in a couple months. These were way better. Way better. Paul asks, can I beat Asus's JJ in a straight-up fist fight? You know what? He's got enough of, and I don't take this the wrong way, he's got enough of a weight advantage that I think I'd be in trouble. So I think I'm going to, and someone suggested that it was from a lack of eating. You know what? I'm going to show you my dinner. This is homemade sweet and sour sauce on with chicken balls and rice, and it's full of carbs and full of meat and breaded chicken, and it's delicious and awesome. And I know I'm a food guy. Trust me, food guy. All right. You talked about the FTO3 Mini, but what is my opinion of the FTO3? It's great. It's the MATX version. I'd get the Mini personally because I don't need the expansion for a computer like that, but awesome. Hey, Dan's joining us. Hi, Dan. Went to a nude beach around the UBC area. It was a nightmare. Yeah, that must have been Wreck Beach. So I'm sorry to hear that you went to Wreck Beach, but see, that's the thing about nude beaches is it's nude beaches are all about people who might go, okay, they're either about people who don't care, and I guess, if you're kind of a hippie and you don't care, then that's cool, but if you're a hippie and you don't care about sort of showing off your goods, then my suggestion would be that never at any point in your life would you have been through a time when people sort of ogling your goods or staring at you would have made you uncomfortable. Because if you'd grown up with that kind of an experience, so let's say hot people, this is just sort of my imagination of how this might work. So as long as you're not one of those people, that's probably how you end up with that kind of a mentality. And so you end up at a nude beach. And then the other people who might go to nude beaches would be people who want to see other hot people. And those people, your Bush's creepers, might not necessarily be the hottest people either. So for the most part, especially here in Vancouver, although it might be different in other cultures. I know Europeans have very different cultures with respect to things like nudity. Here in North America, it's not as much the norm, and it's one of those things where it's more like the weird people go there. And I'm not saying that they're all weird. These are generalizations, and generalizations, while they may be generally true, are never 100% true. So don't take this the wrong way, any of you who are into nude beaches and you're super hot. Although, I mean, tweet me a pic, as long as you're not a dude. Although, who am I kidding? 90, for the live streams, the numbers are even more hilarious than on most of my videos. Most of my videos, it's around 97% male. The people who actually tune in and watch the live streams are 98 point something high percent male, almost 99% male. So actually, do not send me any pictures. Thank you. I have no idea why Twitch doesn't work on Google. I have Twitch open in Google. It is here. See? This is my Google. This is my Twitch. And that's my stream. So, yeah. PEBCAC. Who here doesn't know what PEBCAC means? If you don't know what PEBCAC means, it's kind of an English play on words. It means problem exists between chair and keyboard, which is the way of saying user error that a lot of users won't understand you. All right, so I want to do another topic here. We've got over 1,000 viewers now that I remembered to send out the YouTube notification. So let's talk. What do you guys want to see? You know what? I'll let the Twitch chat vote because I never really let them do anything. You guys want to see Windows 8 Touch and my take on that on the various platforms? Do you want to hear about drive spaces for Windows 8? Or do you want to hear my thoughts on Surface versus iPad versus Android for me personally, with an emphasis on Windows RT and Surface? So Twitch chat, what do you guys got for me? Here we go. Let's see what they say. They all want to hear about drive spaces. Okay, drive spaces is so exciting. So I want to start with how much I loved Windows Home Server. Windows Home Server was the best project that Microsoft ever completely abandoned. Or at least it looked like they abandoned. So Windows Home Server had 2 revisions. The first revision had the most amazing feature ever called the drive pool. The drive pool was awesome because it allowed me, a totally cheap bastard, to take, well, in some ways, okay, so cheap bastard, to take a 24 bay 4U case, so I could fit as many, like 24 3.5-inch drives in, as many as I wanted. Total mishmash of capacities, total mishmash of brands. Some of them were recertified, some of them were new. It was just like, it would be a nightmare to any kind of a storage engineer. They'd just be like, oh, what are you doing? But it allowed me to run that for years without losing any data, in spite of the fact that I lost somewhere between 6 and a dozen drives in that time. Because drive pool, or drive extender, or whatever the heck they called it. Yeah, storage pool, storage drive pool, whatever. Drive pool allowed you to create like a pseudo fake RAID 1, where if you inserted, for example, 2 320 gig drives and one 640 gig drive, the software would be constantly pinging those drives going, what do you have, what do you have, what do you have, what do you have? And then if you set up duplication, every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, hour or so, it would just kind of check, anything changed, and it would check all those drives and say, okay, do any of these drives have something on them that is not replicated somewhere else? And then it would do, it would do the equivalent of if you manually copied the folder or the file from one drive to another. So it was a file-based replication. So you're not reliant on a RAID card. You're not reliant on a chipset. It's just SATA. SATA, and then you can take the drive out, you can put it in another computer, you can read all that data off it, you can restore things. It was brilliant in its simplicity. So it would make sure that all the data on your system was present on at least 2 drives at any given time. So it didn't have the advantages of RAID 5 or RAID 6, where you can glean a lot more storage out of your drives, but it had the advantage where you don't have to buy a bunch of matching drives all at the same time. Which, come on, who has money for that? And like expensive RAID cards to run RAID 6? So that was why that appealed to me, and I used it for a long time, really liked it, but the problem was that advanced format drives, 4K sector drives, are not compatible with the way that drive pool was written, the way it was designed. So they were going to try to implement something, and there's third-party implementations for Windows Home Server 2011. I don't trust a third-party implementation. I inherently, like, you know, am I a Microsoft fanboy? Maybe not, but I tend to, you know, hold them a little bit closer to my heart than some random software dev that I'm going to trust with all of my, like, 15 terabytes of archived video and all my photos, and, like, no, I just don't trust it. So the only other option was to go proper RAID, because they were going to implement it and they cut out drive pool. And I was like, that's the craziest thing I ever heard. I had no idea Storage Spaces was coming. So Storage Spaces is going to allow users running Windows 8, whether it is on a server type of system that you run separately from everything else, okay, so you can just create like a little Windows 8 storage server and stick it in a closet, or whether it's on your PC itself, it will allow you to take, again, mix and match drives and run fake RAID 1 or even fake RAID 5, which is very, very cool. Because computers are so fast now, like, I mean, come on, who's been doing this a while? Who remembers back when you used to read a motherboard review and they would round up 5 different motherboards and tell you which one had the lowest CPU utilization while you were transferring files at 10/100 speeds or even gigabit speeds over a network? Now we don't even care. When was the last time you saw anyone talk about that? It's totally irrelevant, because you can take one hyper-threaded of one of your cores, set that aside, and that could handle, excuse me, any, by the way, this is a G9, not a RAT7, for those of you who seem to think I have a RAT7. Where was I going with that? Something, something, something. Oh, crap. Now I've totally lost track. Blah, 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 blah. Right. You could set aside a small fraction of your processing power, and you can do all the gigabit you want, and you can do all the sound processing you want. These are things people used to care about. You can do all the RAID you want even. I mean, you'd have to have a pretty big, pretty badass array by the time you actually run into some kind of a computational limitation. So now, your OS can just handle it. And the great thing about it is, again, you have that ability to mix and match capacities and manufacturers and just not even care about it at all. And I personally think that that is amazing. I think it's one of the best things about Windows 8, and because it will enable real people, and this is the problem. This is the problem with storage over the years. Real people can't afford it. We can afford hard drives, sure. We can afford, like, you know, your cheapo green drives or your cheapo consumer drives. But by the time you start getting into enterprise grade drives, which are the ones that actually won't fail, when used in a storage application, by the time you get into those, they're really expensive. And then you tell an average user, no, you have to buy twice as many of them. They're like, what? What? I have to buy twice as many of them before it's even remotely safe? I mean, that's crazy talk. Whereas now, Microsoft with the storage spaces is building in RAID 5, which means you don't have to have twice as much. You can have one parity bit for the entire thing. Okay, not to mention you can also mix and match everything, and as you need more space, you can continue to add drives. Whereas you have to have a pretty high-end RAID controller, like an LSI, Adaptec, like an LSI or an Adaptec RAID controller in order to have that kind of functionality. And that's really expensive. So you tell people, oh, you have to have twice as many drives. And if you don't want to have twice as many drives, you have to spend a few $100 on a RAID card. And that's a very entry-level RAID card. Realistically, you want to run any decent number of drives, you're spending $800 or more on a RAID card. Okay, they start at maybe sort of $450 for high-end RAID cards that have fast processors. Well, now you don't care because you're using your CPU to deal with it. So that's where I'm at on storage spaces. If anyone has any additional questions on storage spaces, I will let the Twitch chat see if they want to contribute anything about storage spaces. You bought a 9260-16i for only $400? Wow, that's a good deal. Someone says they got a very high-end RAID card for only $400. I like storage. Windows 8 is pointless without more touchscreen monitors. I'm not that sold on the whole touchscreen monitor thing with Windows 8, to be perfectly honest. How do you enable storage spaces? Actually, not having done it yet, I don't want to sort of speculate. Do something. I will have an episode coming about storage spaces soon. So yes, I'm very excited. Yeah, you guys don't really seem to have much to contribute here. Sorry, guys. No, my house is not paid off. I'm like 26, you guys. Do I look like I have my house paid off? Alright, so I want to move right into my next topic here, which is going to be Windows 8 and Touch. So we'll finish up with the Surface. Windows 8 and Touch. For this part, it would actually be useful if I could move the camera around, but I'll have to just kind of mime it out for you guys as best I can. Or maybe I can move this monitor so you can... Yeah, this will help you guys... Whoops. Oh, that was close. This will help you guys visualize. So, Windows 8 is probably one of the broadest operating systems we've seen in a long time because there will be a server adaptation, there's a desktop adaptation, it is meant for use for professional use, there's a professional SKU, there's a tablet adaptation, and the OS itself, the home OS, just flat out runs on tablets. So, and not to mention there will be a phone adaptation, which will use many of the same elements. So with all of that sort of in mind, Windows 8 is also extremely touch optimized. So yeah, it's fast, it's lightweight, that allows it to run all of these devices. But I am super sold on touch from a phone perspective. I think that right now it would be impossible for me to go back to like a tactile interface phone that actually uses like arrow keys and a menu. Impossible. As a tablet experience, touch is... Oh, I got my screen filter app on here, so I'm just going to turn that. Oh, no, I didn't. Apparently I just have the screen brightness turned way down on this thing. I usually use it at night. So, touchscreen on a tablet. I think we can all agree that anything other than touchscreen on a tablet would be redonkulous at this point. Touchscreen on a notebook, I am very excited about. I'm going to be using the Surface here for Microsoft to simulate what touchscreen on a notebook might look like if you were using it at a desk or at your lap. Touch is awesome because you can be... Oh, just a sec, guys. Sorry. Okay, my baby was using this last time, so it's kind of borked up right now. But so touch on a device like this is outstanding because you can go task switcher. Apparently I'm going to try and use that. It's not going to work for me right now, of course. So you can be typing on a document, and then a second later you can be like, oh, okay, I want to read more about that, so I'll go back to Windows and I want to go to, I don't know, whatever, Internet Explorer. And then for me, at this point, it is very natural to browse websites like this. Oh, what's that? Oh, that's kind of cool. That switches to the mobile version of the website. Neat. Okay. It's very natural for me to swipe like this when I'm reading. I find it easier to manage than page up, page down, arrow keys, or like scrolling over here and finding the little bar and moving it down. Like I'm not sold on those ways of interacting anymore. So yes, for reading, casual reading, for video, it's, again, very natural for me to sit and watch video like this and then just kind of, touch it or scroll around like this rather than reaching over for the mouse. I'm much more comfortable. So yes, I'm super sold on touch for notebook, and the reason for this comes down to distance. I am close enough to a notebook that I can type on it comfortably, like this. See, shoulders relaxed, back straight. How do you type on a notebook? Then I can reach my screen by moving this much. If you're any further away than that, it's not going to happen. This is the same kind of thing that causes problems for people who have, say, for example, two-handed passwords, where you have to take your hand off your mouse, physically move it over this much, type your password, and go back to your mouse. It's obnoxious. If I'm using the internet like this, and I kind of go, oh, I want to enter a URL, there's my keyboard, I go there, and then, boom, I'm going to scroll around. I'm not actually connected to Wi-Fi right now, guys, sorry, so this isn't going to work. But that's very natural because it's so close. You're not moving very far. You're moving like 3 inches away, or for my, for all my fellow Canadians, you're moving like 8 centimeters away, 9 centimeters away, and it's very natural. On the desktop, touch poses some problems for me. And I've done videos about it. I've spent time with Windows 8 on the desktop, and I have a big problem for one reason. This is how I use a desktop. This is a 27-inch monitor right here, guys. Okay, it's big. I don't sit this close to it. I don't have my keyboard here to the point where this is how I'm using my computer with my keyboard right against it so that it would be quick to touch. I use my desktop computer more from a distance of, let's say, about... Oh my goodness, I just closed the iPad in there. Oops. There it is. It's all good. I would have never found that. Okay. Here's how I use my desktop. I want to be at a comfortable distance, which for a 27-inch 1080p monitor is about here. So I got my mouse in my hand here. I got my keyboard in front of me here. This is how I type. This is comfortable. This is where I need my touch screen to be. This is where my touch screen is. Try this, okay, guys? Try this. Remember, touch screen is for casual use, casual interaction. You go like this, you scroll around, you zoom. Touchscreen is meant to be very relaxed. If your shoulders aren't relaxed, if you're not comfortable, it's not going to work, okay? Do this. Everyone watching, hold your arm out like this, fully extended, with your shoulder forward. Like, reach out to your computer. If you're on a computer right now, reach out to your screen. Now hold your arm there for the next sort of, 2 minutes of the live stream. Just hold your arm there and kind of go like this a little bit. I guarantee you get tired. So, touchscreen to me is almost like it's almost like a go one way or go completely the other way experience on the desktop. So you either have a computer sitting in your kitchen that doesn't even have a mouse and a keyboard at it and is just a touch computer where you're running Modern UI or Metro UI, and that's it, and that's the way you're using it, and maybe you have like a keyboard in a drawer somewhere nearby that's wireless. Or you use Windows 8 with a mouse and a keyboard like a normal human being, and that's where we're at. So yeah, touchscreen, not sold on the desktop, very sold on mobile, and very sold on notebook. I think notebook is almost going to be, or something like Surface, where it's bridging that gap between tablet and notebook, is going to be the magic device where all of a sudden mouse, keyboard, touch all of these things make awesome sense, and you can do whatever's most convenient. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I haven't been sitting at a notebook before with a glossy screen and think, oh yeah, I'll scroll this, and I kind of go, oh right, it's not touchscreen. I've never done that with a desktop, because when you're at a desktop, you have a proper keyboard. Half the problem is when you're at a notebook, you're hunting for a stupid function key, and then you're trying to remember which function key is like page up and page down. Is it the arrows up? Is it something up in the top right? You don't know where it is. So that's why, instead of thinking about it, I might reach and try to go like this. At a desktop, I know where my page up and my page down is, unless I bought like a ridiculous keyboard that doesn't have them here. Then that's where they are. That's where they are. It's the end of story. That's where they are. And you also got arrow keys. And you've also got a mouse wheel. Mouse wheel makes all the difference in the world. You don't have a mouse wheel. This is almost the replacement for mouse wheel for me, in terms of what I would actually use touch for and yes, this is a Playboy mouse pad, you guys, get over it. Twitch chat's going crazy about the Playboy mouse pad. But that's what I would actually use touch for on a notebook style device. So there you go. That is my take on that. Let's do a little bit more in terms of Twitter questions here before we move on to my last topic, and I want to talk about Surface a lot prior to the unboxing that I will be adding later tonight. So 196 new interactions. I hate touchscreen because there's always fingerprints. Yeah, I don't know, I'm used to it. It used to drive me crazy, but hi Linus in stream. You say get a sound card because it's better. Yes, you will notice the difference. Can we get Windows 8 for 15 bucks? If you have a system with Windows 7, you can get a Windows 8 upgrade for only 15 bucks, yes. And you just buy it online. Is that a shiny monitor? Yes, the one I have here is shiny. My arm is in pain, and when I touch my monitor sitting next to me, it's like lifting. Okay, good. Touchpad or trackpad would be a good idea for Windows 8, absolutely. And then this is another part of, like, it's... See, okay, one more thing about touch is people treat touch and keyboard and mouse as if they're these diametrically opposed things, but they're not. It's turning into this interface spectrum where you've got your traditional keyboard and mouse, and then you've got things like touchpads and tablets, not these tablets, but you've got like Wacom tablets, so like art input devices, and then on the other side you've got like these pure touchscreen interfaces where everything is done with a virtual keyboard and everything is navigated through touching. But there's no reason why we can't do all of these things. Okay. I want to build a desktop server with at least 6 SATA 3 hard drives and RAID. Yeah, buy a RAID card. If you're running 6 drives and they're all matching, get a real RAID card. I saw Logan rant about Windows 8 a while ago. I still don't think it's optimized for mice and, more importantly, multitasking. How do you optimize an OS for multitasking? I mean, they're pretty multitasking friendly these days. I would argue that Windows Vista and Windows 7 aren't really very well optimized for multitasking, to be perfectly honest. I mean, come on. Are you guys serious? This? Or wait, no, it's not screen sharing. Do I not? Oh, I don't have, sorry guys, I don't have AeroGlass enabled right now, but that stupid flip thing that they introduced with Vista, I mean, come on, that's not multitasking. When you compare that to something like Expose on OS X, it's ridiculous. I'm only 16, so it's pretty weird for me to witness a major change in the PC experience. The mouse and keyboard is sort of old. Oh, this is a topic I wanted to talk about. The change in the PC interface and usage experience. People think that... Okay, here. This is going to turn into like a Kids Today rant. Because... Let me just make sure I got the right thing going on here. Yes. Kids today think that the start menu is the be-all and end-all. Okay. The start menu sucks. The start menu is slow. Why do you think Microsoft added the jump bar, or jump lists, down here? So that you can put a ton of stuff down here that you'll have easy access to. Because the start menu is stupid. This is why the start menu is stupid. And this is coming from someone who went through the Windows 3.1 to Windows 95 change. Start, okay? So this has, out of all of the things I might want to do with my computer, this has like 8 of them. Thanks for that. All programs. I have to scroll. Are you serious? Older implementations were better than this. where they had just a bigger one if there was more stuff. Are you kidding me? I have to scroll if I want to find WinRAR? Yeah, I can search for stuff, but you know what? I could search for stuff 10 years ago too, so it's not like that's the be-all and end-all. It's just Control R. Or not Control R, Control F or whatever it is. Yeah, it doesn't even work anymore. But okay, so I have to scroll. Then, I mean, heaven forbid that I actually go to something like accessories, and then I want to reach system tools, and then I want to find something in there, and then that's not the right thing, and I want to go back, and it's like, how does this even work? This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I don't like the start menu. I thought the start menu was stupid. Windows 3.1 had it right. All you had was you had your, okay, so picture like this whole thing that you're seeing now as your Windows desktop. So you had your applications box here, and then under it you had your games, and you could scroll the wheel on either side there, and then next to it you had your screensavers, because back then screensavers were the in thing. And then you have, up here you have like your, I don't know, you can do a whole lot with computers in those days, but the point is, you had everything segmented almost like almost like this, where everything was sorted by the utility of it, and you could rearrange things as you see fit, and then you could, whoopsie daisies, and then you could move things around however you wanted and arrange them and have some of them be bigger than others. You could actually take all of those segmented windows, and you could resize them. You could make your games one, you know, this big, and then you could have your, like, you know, your mom's music. Still, well, okay, multimedia wasn't really around yet, but whatever. Your screensavers could be this big, you know, sort of in a small corner here, and you could rearrange it however you wanted. So modern UI, to me, almost feels like an extension of that, where now, instead of being limited to this static space that I have on my desktop, which back then resolutions were very low, now I can easily and smoothly scroll between all the different stuff that I have and how I have it compartmentalized. I can scroll right out, and I can zoom in on the part that's important to me. This, to me, is a faster way to access things than Start Menu, especially the pre-Windows Vista, Windows 7, I don't remember when they changed it, but the one when you used to have to mouse over and then wait for the next thing to pop out. I mean, to me, Start Menu was such a step backwards, and you guys can agree or disagree, and that's sort of what half the fun of this is not everyone's going to agree with me, but how many things do you guys actually use on your computer anymore? I would argue too many for, sorry, I'm going to put that away. I would argue too many for this to be it, and I would argue maybe too many for the bottom ones here to be enough, but not so much that you have to have a start menu. I mean, try and figure it out, guys. More clicks is bad. This is UI 101. The more clicks you have, the way worse it is. So modern UI, and I'm going to bring back up my XSplit here so I can see what I'm talking about. Modern UI will allow you to have far more available at your fingertips than either jump lists or start menu in its current implementation. And I'm so not excited to go back to start menu, because I personally have probably about 25 to 30 things. Most of my games are in Steam now. I mean, it's not like I open individual games anymore. So I only have like low double digits things I actually do on my computer. So how much space would I actually need on a modern UI thing here in order to have everything I need to do right at the tip of my fingers? Well, I'd need one block like this, another block like this, and another block like this. So what's faster? Clicking the start menu, and then, whoops, sorry, you know what? Huh, the great thing about Windows is you can actually still use it this way if you want. So what's faster? Clicking a start menu, and then clicking here, and then clicking here, or going like this, and then tapping something, whether it's with a mouse or whether it's with your hands. So that is my take on it. And for those of you who are saying the search is the only thing I use in the start menu, you are exactly the reason why the start menu is going away. Because you can still search. It doesn't matter where you are in the modern UI, you can go like this. Control panel. So the way the search works is outstanding. forget Start Menu. As for being compact and organized for Start Menu, that's a comment on Twitch. Yeah, but you can also make Metro organized. You can also organize things with your, I forget, do they call them, whatever, pinning things to the taskbar. You can have a lot of frequently used apps there. You can still add desktop shortcuts. So there's still a lot of ways that things can be used the same way you're used to. I think Start Menu, Samsung implemented a Start Menu on their Windows 8 PCs, and I think it just feels clunky and out of place in the Windows 8 environment. I'm not sold on Start Menu. Okay, so let's keep going. Looks like a lot of people disagree with me, but I mean, you know what? 5 years, 10 years from now, you'll be using a touch-friendly interface, whether you guys like it or not. Do you know how many people said they'd never use the Start Menu in Windows 95 because it was so crap? Guess how many people use the Start Menu now? Bam! So, there you go. Let's take a couple more Twitter questions, and then I'm going to talk about Surface, because I'm super excited about Surface. And I have to hit the scroll bar. Are you kidding me? Exactly! Exactly! My friend wants to buy 2 GTX 670s, and he's barely even a casual gamer. Could you briefly explain to him that it's stupid? I'd love to explain to him that it's stupid, but I have a GTX 590, and I'm, a casual gamer. Logan says we should wait until at least Service Pack 1 because it has way too many issues. What do you think? I think waiting for Service Pack 1 on any Windows OS has never been a bad idea. Windows XP sucked at launch. Windows Vista, nobody liked at launch. I liked it, but Windows 7 actually was great at launch. But it's rarely a bad idea. Linus, do you like Linux? Never used it. When I'm not using well, okay, I've used it, but I've never used it like for my own personal computer. When I'm not using touchscreen, I have to scroll to the side with my mouse. It's a pain. I don't like Windows 8 for non-touchscreen desktop computer. Once you memorize the shortcut keys in Windows 8, it will be the best experience ever. That's another thing, is people need to... We're talking about a new generation of computer users here. We're not talking about old people who... Actually, this is great. This is a great anecdote. A friend of mine at work was like a nerd back when being a nerd was like pretty rare. Back when the mouse was invented, he was like an uber geek and figuring out like how to build networks at the local university. So, buddy of mine was talking about how he put together, get this, he put together at UBC a class where they taught the professors, and this was like a $149 course or something, and it was packed. He put together a curriculum to teach people how to use a mouse. And he was like, you wouldn't believe the stuff I saw. People were taking the mouse, and they'd get to the edge of the mouse pad, and they'd go like this, down the table. Or they'd bring it off to the edge, and they'd go like this over it. Or they'd go over the edge, and they wouldn't know what to do, or they'd be holding it like this. That's yesterday. That's not that long ago. Whereas now, we take a mouse for granted. We take Control-C, Control-V for granted. If you don't know how to copy-paste without, like, it used to be people copy and pasted by going up to Edit and going down to Copy. That's slow. That's stupid. The modern computer user has no patience, and they've grown up with this stuff. They are going to figure out the shortcuts that Microsoft has built in. They're going to take advantage of this OS, and it's going to be a significantly better experience. Just you guys wait. You guys wait and see. I will be right. Twitter. I really like the Start menu and the something, tips on making energy efficient rig. Buy energy efficient parts. Underclock them. Nope, I don't think the mouse and keyboard is going anywhere. Nowhere at all, especially on the desktop. And anyone who thinks the desktop is dead is a moron, because the desktop is not dead. The desktop will always, well, not always, but will, for the foreseeable future, potentially my lifetime, be a better platform than anything else for any kind of real computer use, whether it's spreadsheets, or whether it's video editing, or whether it's, you will always need the computing power of a desktop, and you'll always need the form factor of a desktop. No one's going to use a computer for 8 hours a day like this. No one's going to do that because that's stupid. This is stupid. I mean, someone will do it because they have to, because they're a road warrior or whatever else, but in an office environment, you're going to have desktops. And anyone who says, oh, well look, sales of desktops are declining, so the desktop is dead, you're wrong. The reason sales of desktops are declining are very simple. It's because the desktop you built 5 years ago is still fast enough for the internet. 5 years before that, it wasn't the case. You couldn't play back HD video on that computer. You couldn't run the internet on that computer. Or, well, you could, but it would suck. It would be a terrible experience. So the reason is that people's upgrade cycles are getting longer, just like with a fridge or a dishwasher or any other appliance like that. That is why the desktop sales are slowing down, not because the desktop is dead as a platform. Alright, back to Twitter for a little bit. I'm not going to have much time for Surface. You guys have like got me going here tonight. Ranting about stuff. Because you guys are killing me here. Should my next hard drive array be SSD or hard drive? Money isn't a problem? However, more space is better. I don't know what you mean by hard drive array. You should have an SSD for boot, and then you should store everything else on hard drives. Nice recommendations for FPS games. Get a G9X. If you have a claw grip, I really like G9 series. Why do people keep asking me if I lift tonight? I already said I don't lift. And then I said like 8 times I don't lift. Mind you, that might have been before I invited the YouTube people. Nice couch you got there. I got it from a local furniture store. Nothing fancy. Linus, do you know what A+ certified is? Nick, you win the award. You win this piece of carpet lint for asking what must be the most phenomenally obvious question that I've ever had on one of my live streams. Of course I know what A+ is. I am not A+ certified, however. I never did take the course. I'm thinking about getting just one touch monitor for touch in the modern UI, having a second one as a main one. What do you think? Jordan, I'm not sold. I don't think that the way that they've implemented Windows 8 now is going to be conducive to having like one monitor for using with your keyboard and mouse and one for touch. Although it's something I'd love to see them think about more with the next iteration of the OS. Okay. You know what? Let's cut it for now. I'm going to get through Surface as fast as I can, and then I want to do a little bit more Q&A. So Surface, why do I like this? Why do I think that this is amazing? Because it is amazing. Where's my iPad? Here we go. Okay. Number 1, thickness. Once you put here, I'm just gonna operate the camera myself here. Once you put a cover on an iPad 2, and let's face it, you're putting a cover on your iPad, because if you're not, then you clearly don't take very good care of your very expensive electronics. Once you put a cover on it, this is the difference in thickness. My iPad 2 is actually slightly thicker than my Surface, so I could even get a nice slim cover on the back, and they'd be very, very similar. So there's that, okay? Here. When I am watching a video on my iPad, okay, so I'm watching some video. I don't know what video this is. My wife was using it. I'm watching some video and I go, oh, my brightness isn't very good. How do I change that? I go like this. I shut down my video. I go to settings. Then I go to brightness and wallpaper. Remember, guys, clicks are bad. Did I say it was too low or too high? It doesn't matter. The point is I'm adjusting it. Then I'm going out here. I'm going back to my video. How many clicks was that? That's ridiculous. Microsoft has thought about this. They've gone, what do people want out of a mobile experience? What can we bring to the table? If I was watching a video on the Surface... Oh, I hope the battery didn't die. I haven't actually charged it yet. I just got it today. Uh-oh. I didn't even check the battery charge level. This is going to be a problem. Uh-oh. Linus is in trouble on his live stream now. Hold on. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I hope I'm doing it wrong. How am I going to do my Surface segment if my Surface is not charged? Oh, my Surface isn't charged. Well, oh, wait, hold on. It's turning on now. I wonder where's the charger for it, so I could plug it in so it's not going to run out of battery. Yeah, it turned on for a sec there, and then it petered out on me. So it looks like the Surface. Okay, fine. I'll simulate this for you. So here's how you. Okay, so I'm going to lose the Surface thing. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on Surface, then I guess what you'll have to do is watch my unboxing, which will come up later. So what you do on the Surface is you'd have your video going, you swipe in from the side, you touch the volume or the brightness rocker, either one, and you just go like this, or just go like this. It is so fast and so easy and so intuitive that I am just absolutely blown away by how awesome it is. And apparently the battery is okay. I'm just going to turn the camera for a second while I enter my password. Sorry guys, as much as I want to share all of my passwords with y'all. Okay. All right. So we're gonna go to the the Xbox video store or whatever else. I don't know if this is the right one actually. Cameraman was playing around with it. Oh right, we can't connect. Okay, so you swipe in, you go settings. I need to connect to a wireless network. It's my wireless network, and same thing. As much as I'd love to share my wireless network with you guys, who knows? Maybe some of you are my neighbors and you want to steal my Wi-Fi. Yes, turn on sharing and connect and all that good stuff. Connected. Okay, so let's go back. So let's try to close this down, and then we'll open up Xbox Video again. So movie store, television store. Let's just click on something and see what happens. Okay. I hope the wireless is working now. Yeah, it looks like it's connected. Okay. So here we go. So I want to see some trailer for something. Actually, this probably won't have TV stuff. Probably won't have a trailer. So television store. Here we go. Madagascar 3. So I want to play a trailer. This is how I do it on Windows RT. So I go to my full screen. I go, oh, my brightness isn't right. Settings, screen, down. Screen, up, play around with it, I'm done. That, my friends, is the magic of Windows 8, because they have actually thought about this. Not only that, but Windows RT is a practical office device. Now, I've seen a lot of mixed impressions of the pressure-sensitive touch cover. I also have the other one. I grabbed the type cover as well, just so that I could try them both out and see what I thought of them. So the touch cover, is it perfect? No. Would I type, would I write Moby Dick on it? No. However, is it usable? The answer is yes. And I can actually type not bad on it. Oh, see, I missed one. Not badly on it. Okay. Bad demo. Considering I've logged about 5 minutes on it so far. So that is how terrible this super thin touch cover is, and the type cover is, again, significantly better. Can you get used to it? Absolutely. So is this thing useful as an entertainment platform? Yes. Does it allow you to quickly and easily change between the things that you're doing? Yes. Is it useful as a productivity device? Absolutely. This is smaller than any laptop you're going to encounter. It is more versatile than any laptop you're going to encounter. It has better battery life than any laptop you're going to encounter. And it has all of the things that are nice about a tablet as well. Are the apps there yet? The answer is no. The answer is a definite no, and you probably didn't need me to tell you that. But will the apps get there? In my mind, yes, they will. However, if I was going to be throwing my hard dollars at it or not throwing my hard-earned dollars at it, I would probably lean towards waiting for a Surface Pro. But that doesn't mean that I don't believe in this and that I wouldn't necessarily get this. So, and yes, Android can do whatever it wants, but I'm really not that sold on Android, even with Jelly Bean, even with Project Butter. To me, again, I talked about snappiness earlier on in the live chat where I said snappiness to me is everything. This is a uniformly snappy experience. It doesn't matter what you do. Whoops, okay, well, it matters somewhat what you do. You have to at least hold it correctly. You want to change your orientation? It feels good. It animates well. It feels like a device that you just spent a bunch of money on, as opposed to something where you go like this and it's like, Okay, so there's that. Multitasking on it is awesome because you just go like this. You can pick whatever you want to do. You can also bring things in. Actually, you can't do it with desktop, so hold on. I don't have anything open on it right now, which is sort of the problem we're having right now. So there's the store. I'm just going to wait for that to open, then I'm going to show you something else. Okay, let's go back. Let's open IE and the modern UI. I've seen a lot of complaints about application launch times, and honestly, I'm not really feeling it here to the other reviewers out there. So this is another cool thing. If I'm like, okay, I want to have Internet Explorer open here, reset connection, and then I want to have something else going on. Maybe I'm browsing the store like this on the left, or whether it's something like Skype or something like an instant messenger client. How many of you guys have been using something like an iPad and kind of gone, oh, why do people keep messaging me on Facebook or whatever else? Because it is such a bear to close down whatever you're doing, go to your messaging app, type your response, go out of what that is, go back to what you were doing. It's stupid. Whereas now, you can have that open in the side all you want. You can have something else going on, and you can actually change the split so that it goes this way as well. So you could browse the store, and then you could have, like, I don't know, you could be monitoring the NCIX forums at the same time. And the UI is so smooth. Here, I'm going to bring this closer so you guys can actually see what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me just switch the camera back to manual mode. Or auto mode, rather. There we go. Auto mode. I hope you guys can see this. There we go. It's just very smooth, even when you're navigating like multiple things at a time. And it's not the power of the Tegra 3 processor. Let's be very clear about that, because Tegra 3 is nothing special these days. It's just the way that they've optimized the OS, which means that much better, even better things are going to be coming in the future. And this is the first time we've actually seen anything approaching true multitasking on a mobile platform. So, is Windows 8 perfect? No. Is Windows RT perfect? No. People are asking me to double tap the home button. Why on earth are they asking me to do that? Yeah, who cares about that? You don't have to double tap the home button. If you want this functionality, then you can just go like this. That's faster to me. You can switch between things like that, or you can go like this and you can switch between all of the things. This is not actually faster. I don't like buttons around the outside. If anything, I'd prefer if they didn't have one at all. So, okay. No cat in the live chat sucks. Well, I can ask for a cat to come visit us. Rumble, Rumble, do you want to join us? Rumble, where are you? You gonna come join us for the last little bit here? All right, we only got a couple minutes left, so let's go back to some Twitter questions and finish off the evening here. Oh, double tap the iPad. Oh. Oh, no. I know what you guys are talking about. No. Double tap the iPad is a terrible multitasking experience. Oh, but yes, you can change brightness in there. You're right. So you have these options down here. Double tap doesn't even work right half the time, though. Come on. Especially once you have a well-used iOS device. My phone properly detects a double tap maybe half the time. So there you go. Okay, yes, double tap can be used for some of those as well. But for actual multitasking, like if you go back to my other example, which was the one where you're running a messenger app in the background, yes, you can double tap and you can switch to that app. I would argue it's not actually that much faster, especially if you're trying to do sort of anything else. And it's just, you know what? As an iOS user who actually likes iOS, I'm just not sold on iOS anymore. The Windows 8 experience feels smoother. It does feel better. And guys, I bought this today. Nobody sent me one of these. All of my Android tablets are samples. I would not buy an Android tablet based on the experience I've had with it so far. I bought this, and I bought this. I'm comparing two things I bought. I am a fanboy of neither. I am just telling you guys, these are the experiences I'm having. And apparently Rumble's not going to join us, but let's do some more Twitter stuff. Okay. Here we go. Try multi-generational with 4 fingers. Haven't played around with that yet. Like I said, I haven't spent much time with Windows 8 or Windows RT yet, guys. You should use the TSN app on Windows 8. I would, but I don't have any sports to read about because there's no hockey. Best PC speakers in your opinion? Probably the Corsair SP2500s. How do you do a print screen on the Surface? I have no idea. Control P probably works. Would imagine that. Snipping tool is there, so there you go. Shouldn't be rocket science. I mean, that's another thing that's nice, is if you know how to use a Windows device, you kind of already know how to, you already kind of know how to use Windows 8. So, or wait, did I say Control P? It should be, no, there should be a print screen button. Nah, I'd probably just use snipping tool, I guess. Snipping tool. And then I could just create a new snip. Cool. Oh, hold on. Oh, this won't be a very good demo if I can't figure out how to do it. Snipping tool. Yeah. And new. There we go. I can create my screenshot. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing here. There we go. See? Snipping tool. So you just search for SNIP and then you're good. Okay. Loving the new set, nice and casual. This is my living room, not a set, just so you know. That's why it's nice and casual and I shouldn't be working here. Anything wrong with the something 2,000 RPM fans at 20 decibels? Yeah, that's what's wrong with them. There's no way that they're that quiet. Would I ever dye my hair blonde again? I don't know. I've done it before. I use 4 fingers and move them up to access multitasking on the iPad. That's right. I forgot about that. What? 7.1 something? Are the things you unbox sponsored? Some of them not. Which 660 Ti card would you recommend in terms of performance, heat, and sound? I was a big proponent of the Power Edition, but the Power Edition sort of went away, so I don't know what to tell you anymore. Can you recommend a mouse like the G9X, but not from Logitech? No. The G9X is from Logitech. That's sort of how it is. When you have a blackout, how do you cope with it? I use my phone. Yes, I have a UPS for the main computers. Mine and my wife's in the server. Have I been sent a Haswell CPU yet? Not even close, guys. That platform is not even close. I know you mentioned the touch experience on desktop. Have you heard about the Leap Motion? I have heard about the Leap Motion. Not sold. I'll be sold when I actually have a chance to try it, and it's amazing. But otherwise, I think there's a lot of potential for sort of accidental misinterpretations, I think. If it's amazing, then great. If there's no latency, then great. But again, it's only as good as the leg. So I haven't tried it yet, so I don't want to say too much. Best high-performance case fans, I want to upgrade, get Noctuas. They don't move a ton of air, I guess. They move pretty good air when they're at full voltage, but they're really quiet. Do I like rice? Yes, I do. And thank you. I like this chair too. I'm using an Asus Zonar DX sound card. I'm thinking of upgrading to an STX. Will I see a big improvement? Well, you won't see a big improvement, that's for sure. You might hear an improvement. Once you go from onboard to a sound card, the difference is night and day, no matter what sort of speakers or headphones you're using. When you go from one sound card to another sound card, make sure you have the audio equipment to deal with it. What's better, the Vengeance 1300 or the 5HV2? They're both kind of not great. 1300 is more comfortable than 5HV2, so I guess I'd go that route, but get 7H if you can afford it. I think Windows 8 looks awesome on the Surface, but will programs for video editing be okay? Right. Something a lot of people are not sure about with Surface. This is an ARM architecture. This CPU is not even capable of running your existing x86 or x64 applications. Not even capable, even remotely capable. They have to be completely recompiled, some of them completely rewritten. And a Windows RT device can only use applications that are downloaded from the Microsoft Store. That's it. When we see Windows Microsoft Surface Pro with an x86 processor inside, then we're going to start talking about using desktop applications on it. This one, the desktop is more of a formality. It's great for using Office 2013, which is on here, but other than that, there's not a whole lot going on for desktop applications. So yeah, that's a big drawback. Minecraft is not going to be on Windows 8? Okay. Do I lift? No. Can you explain dual pumps in a serial loop? Yeah, more pressure, which is good. More pressure is good. Also redundancy. Running pumps in parallel is basically stupid because you get more flow rate, but you don't get more pressure. And since most of the limitations in a water cooling loop are due to pressure drop and not due to needing like a higher maximum flow rate, serial's great. And then if one of your pumps dies, it won't matter because your system will still work. What Z77 motherboard would you recommend for under 200 bucks? I don't know. Get an M-Power or a Sabertooth. Are those under 200 bucks? I don't know. What's the history with the Playboy map thing? I covered this in a previous live stream, but it was a gift, sort of. Are you ever going to have some special guests to do some live streaming with you? Hopefully at some point, but this is at like 9 o'clock my time, so it's not like many people will want to hang out with me at this time. Did you know that Windows 8 has a taskbar for each screen natively if you use multi-monitors? I did not know that, but that sounds awesome. Like I said, I haven't used Windows 8 much yet. It's a G9, not a G9X. I love it. Double tap, blah blah. Yeah, that's lame multitasking though compared to what we're seeing on Windows. I need iOS lessons. No, I knew all this stuff at some point. Like I've used all these gestures and things that people are showing me, but it's just something that I never really found that practical because I wasn't able to multitask effectively and actually use 2 applications at the same time, which you can't. iOS forces you to focus one app. It just faded from memory and I never really thought about it too much. Personal rig updates anytime soon? No. What camera are you using currently? I'm using an $88,500 camera. So, there you go. It better be smooth. It's an FS700 from Sony. What do you recommend for a big hand gaming mouse that's cheap? Maybe a Mionix Neos 3200, something like that. Please make a video about the new AMD drivers and the performance gains in Battlefield 3. Do you really need me to do that? I can just tweet that. AMD has that. Dig himself in a hole in regards to Windows 8. I am not digging myself in a hole. You will see. Do you think tablets will be around for another decade or will they die out as our phones continue to grow in size and function? Well, no. We will always need bigger screens, especially older people. And the people who are tech-savvy, nerdy, geeky people are going to continue to get older. So what that's going to mean is their eyesight's going to start sucking, which means they're going to need bigger screens. So no, tablets never going to disappear. And phones, I think, are already as big as they need to be. iPhone 4, iPhone 5 is as big as I ever need my phone to be because I want to actually hold my phone like this, like a phone. Esther has a Galaxy Note, and it's the most ridiculous thing in the world because you're like, you know, basically like, yes, hello. And we see spoofs about stuff like that, but come on, that's the direction you're heading at a certain point, so no, it's not going to happen. How will the Surface play games? Not at all yet, as far as I know, other than like casual games. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't had much time with it. I played with it a little bit at work today. Cameraman played with it more than I did. And then I came home, I set up my live stream, and I'm doing my live stream. So that's what I got. I'm the guy with the AGP video card. Found a 9600 GT at the dump. That's awesome. But no, don't get a second one. What do I do if all of my hard drives have been reformatted and my main one stopped working? On Windows control panel? Ew. Looks like you're looking at data recovery software at the very least. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Do I prefer Surface or other manufacturers' RT tablet? I've only played with the Vivo tab so far and very little. It depends what you're after. I love Kickstand. Kickstand is amazing. Kickstand is like what turns Surface from a tablet into more like a notebook replacement to me. Surface is a little bit heavy. It's a little bit on the heavier side for what I would sort of like to see for a tablet. So the Vivo tab is very light, just awesome form factor. Rounded edges, although I'm not sure I'm sold on rounded edges anymore now that I've felt these beveled edges. It feels very natural to hold. It depends what you want. If you want something lighter, if you want something you're going to use only as a tablet, or if you don't mind having like a click-in dock, I mean, I love the way that the covers attach to Surface. This is just amazing. You just kind of hold them like sort of remotely close to each other and it just clicks into place. You don't even have to even try to line it up. It's just like done. Whereas ASUS's like docking keyboard stations are a little bit different than that. Dear Linus Tech Tips, can you please look at WASD keyboards? Yeah, there's so many keyboard brands and people are only so interested in them. Jacob asks if I think iPad is dead because of the Surface. No. Apple has so much momentum. I am a college dropout, or flunk out, whichever you prefer. What are my thoughts on the upcoming Surface Pro? I'm super excited, especially based on what I've seen from Surface. And now I've broken everything. Wow, he has 11 followers, look at that. I love Windows 8, but it's really nothing for me on my desktop PC with touchscreen because it's like 1,000 feet away exactly. I'm not going to be telling people to upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 8 on their desktops anytime soon. I know you love cats. What do you think about dogs? I think they smell, but otherwise I love them. Love their attitude. Great attitude, champ, but you smell bad, go outside. That's my sort of take on dogs. They're also way too much work. When we got the cats, we were kind of like, neither of us were home very much. We both work a lot, so it was like having a dog wouldn't be fair. I'll probably do the dog thing once the kids demand it. That would be the threshold for me, although I regret putting this up on the internet now because they're going to find this stream and they're going to remind me that I told my internet viewers that I was going to get a dog at some point, and they're going to make me do it, but we'll see. What do I think of Linux as a gaming platform? Absolutely nothing. I think it'll be 20 years before Linux even makes headroom. Okay, maybe 10 years, but yeah. Do I know you wear blah blah custom laptop? Don't get a custom laptop. Get a real laptop. What do you think about Surface as a controller for media on your desktop? I think that convincing people that they have to have a tablet, until tablets reach the same kind of price points as something like a Nexus 7, where it's like at or under $200, then it's very hard to convince me to do that, because I don't carry a tablet around with me, which means that either that tablet would live near my TV and it would live on my coffee table to be used for that, or to be used here, and it would, like, its charging station would be like here in the corner, or it would be my tablet and it would be like wherever I left it around my house. And come on, let's face it, TV watchers, even compared to PC gamers, are like the laziest guys ever. Are they going to go upstairs to get the remote, or are they just going to watch TV? They're going to watch TV. So no, I'm not sold on that. Really want one of those. Change the blah 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 blah. Is there going to be any future with Socket 1155? No, there won't be. You are stuck at 3770K. So here will be the grand... Actually, okay, I'll do one more Twitter question. I'm going to do whatever's the top when I refresh it here. Oh, 115, 120 new interactions. You guys are killing me here. When you watch TV, what shows do you watch, Linus? I watch pretty much anything Seth MacFarlane works on, so your Family Guys, your American Dads. Particularly American Dad would be my favorite out of his stable these days. Love South Park. South Park is my favorite show by a long shot. Love Futurama, although I thought the most recent season started off kind of weak, or the comeback season started off kind of weak, but then got a lot stronger as things went on. Mostly animated stuff. I've watched all the way through House. I love Seinfeld, but these aren't things that I watch over and over again. I don't watch much TV because what I discover is that every time I start a show, if I don't enjoy it, then I'm wasting my time, and if I do enjoy it, then I don't sleep. Like, it's like books. Like, I love reading. Last time I was on vacation on my honeymoon, I burned through something retarded like 28 novels in the 2.5 weeks I was gone. And, because once I pick it up, I can't put it down. So if I have other responsibilities, like filming videos or going to work, then it's very, very difficult for me to watch TV or read books because they consume my life very quickly. Actually, Elliot asked a good question. What do you think about Microsoft Smart Glass? I think that Gen 1 is kind of neat, and that it's really going to be more like Gen 2, or once we see some more software revisions before that kind of thing is really, really cool. So, live unboxing of the Darth Vader Pez dispenser. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here, I'm going to get a little bit closer here for you guys. So, you can collect them all. So there is Emperor Palpatine, Darth Maul, Darth Vader, R2-D2, C-3PO, and Yoda. Although I wish they'd just take Darth Maul off there because he's the only thing that's keeping this from being entirely original trilogy, which would make it better. There's instructions for loading in the candy. There's also nutritional facts about Pez candy in general. I suspect for nutrition they should just put something along the lines of none and leave it at that. I mean, Pez isn't going to kill you, but it's not going to do anything positive for you either. Let's go ahead and open this bad boy up. It comes with 2 Pez packets. And do they come preloaded? No, they do not. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've had Pez. So to load a Pez dispenser, you open it up. Look, Darth Vader has a long neck. Oh, and it closed. Okay. So let's open up a Pez packet here. And not labeled for individual sale. Fascinating. What do you think, guys? Lemon candy or strawberry candy? So we got strawberry. See if that focuses. I don't think it's going to... Oh, no, it's not in manual. Or it's not in auto mode. Let's go auto mode. This has probably been out of focus the whole time. Okay, there we go. Strawberry. Still not going to focus for me. Whatever. Screw you, camera. or lemon. You can tell from the colors. Okay, I got votes for strawberry. I got votes for lemon. Oh, I think I see more lemon votes in the Twitch chat, so there we go. I'm going to open up the lemon here. All right, see, we're having fun. We have fun on this live stream. All right, I got my lemon candies here. Although some of the paper clung to the candy, and I'm having a little bit of trouble kind of loading this in. It's been a long time since I've done this, you guys. I'm like 26 now, so Pez hasn't exactly been a part of my life for a number of years. Let's go ahead and put that in there. I mean, not that I'm saying you can outgrow Pez, because that's not what I'm saying at all. I was as excited to get my new Darth Vader Pez dispenser as I was to ever get any Pez dispenser ever before in my life as well. So let's just go ahead and sort of put that in there. You can save strawberry for later, says one of the Twitch contributors tonight. Yes, I can. Thank you. I will save the strawberry for later. So I'm finishing up the lemon, and that pretty much wraps up the live stream for tonight. Darth Vader has been loaded. This is my Darth Vader Pez dispenser, and let's see if I can get it to actually focus here. It could be that like manual focus isn't on. Focus, auto, yeah, no, autofocus is on. I don't know, whatever. This is the Darth Vader Pez dispenser that will be the prize crown jewel of my Pez dispenser collection of one, because I only have one. And that wraps up this live stream. Now I'm gonna like make out with Darth Vader. Get some candy, get some sugar. Thank you for tuning in. May the Force be with you all, and good night.